You run two businesses, a profitable consulting practice and a small product company on the side. Both make good money. But this year, when you ran your taxes, one of them lost most of its 20% deduction. Not because it earned too little, because of a wage limit you crossed without realizing it. Here is the part almost nobody talks about. There is a perfectly legal election that lets you combine those two businesses into one for the deduction. And it can pull thousands of dollars back onto your return. Today, I show you exactly how Section 199A aggregation works, when it helps, the tests you have to pass, and a real example where combining two businesses turned a smaller deduction into a much bigger one. Welcome to the Freelancer's Wealth Blueprint. This is where we turn freelance income into long-term wealth. If you run more than one business or you are thinking about starting a second one, hit that subscribe button. This channel is built for people exactly like you. Let us get into it. First, a quick refresher on the deduction we are protecting. The qualified business income deduction lets most self-employed people deduct up to 20% of their business profit. It comes straight off your taxable income. So if your business nets $100,000, you could deduct $20,000 of it before income tax is even calculated. For a freelancer, this is one of the most valuable breaks in the entire tax code, and it is permanent now, so it is worth learning how to keep every dollar of it. Here is the catch that creates the whole problem. When your taxable income is below a certain line, the deduction is simple. You just take your 20%. But once your income climbs above that line, the rules change. The deduction stops being automatic. Now it gets limited by how much you pay in wages and how much business property you own, and that wage limit is where a lot of high-earning freelancers quietly lose money. So let me show you exactly where that line sits for 2026. If you file single, the phase-in starts at $201,750 of taxable income. It fully limits your deduction once you pass $276,750. If you are married filing jointly, the phase-in starts at $403,500. And it fully limits once you cross $553,500. Below those numbers, you do not need any of this. Above them, aggregation can be the difference between a full deduction and a gutted one. Now here is why one business can lose its deduction while another keeps it. Imagine your consulting practice has no employees. You do all the work yourself. That means it pays zero W-2 wages. Above the income threshold, a business with zero wages can have its deduction crushed because the limit is based on wages paid. Meanwhile, your product company has 2 employees and pays real wages. It has plenty of wage capacity to spare. One business is wage-starved. The other has wages it cannot fully use. They are out of balance. This is exactly the problem aggregation solves. The wage limit is calculated business by business, separately, unless you elect to combine them. When you aggregate, the IRS lets you pool the income and pool the wages of both businesses and apply the limit to the combined group. Suddenly, the wages from your product company can support the income from your consulting practice. The two streams flow together into one larger calculation, and the deduction that was being limited comes back to life. But you cannot just combine any two businesses you feel like. There are strict tests and you have to meet all of them. So let me walk you through what the IRS actually requires before you are allowed to aggregate. Here are the eligibility tests. First, common ownership. The same person or the same group of people must own 50% or more of each business you want to combine. Second, the timing rules. All the businesses have to use the same tax year, and none of them can be what the code calls a specified service trade or business above the threshold. Third, the integration test. The businesses must meet at least 2 of 3 factors. They provide similar products or services, or they share resources like staff, accounting, or facilities, or they operate in coordination with and rely on each other. Meet 2 of those 3 plus common ownership and matching years, and you can aggregate. Now let me put real numbers on it so you can see the payoff. Say you are above the income threshold. Business A is your consulting work. It nets $180,000 but pays 0 wages. Business B is your product company. It nets $90,000 and pays $60,000 in wages. Keep them separate, and business A gets almost nothing because it has no wages, while business B takes its share. Your combined deduction comes out to roughly $18,000. Now aggregate them. You add the income together. You add the wages together. And you apply the wage limit to the whole group at once. The $60,000 in wages from business B now backs up the income from business A too. Run the combined math and your deduction jumps to around $30,000. That is a $12,000 swing from one election on the exact same businesses earning the exact same money. Nothing about your operations changed, only how you reported them. Here is how you actually make the election and the warnings that come with it. You attach a statement to your return that lists each aggregated business, describes it, and explains how it meets the tests. There is no separate form to mail in. But once you aggregate, two rules bind you. You generally must keep aggregating those same businesses in future years. You cannot flip back and forth to game the numbers each year. And every co-owner who shares those businesses must report the aggregation consistently. So if you have partners, everyone needs to be on the same page. Final thought. Aggregation is not for everyone. If your taxable income is below the threshold, you already get the full 20% and you can ignore all of this. But if you are a high-earning freelancer with more than one business and one of them is wage-starved while another has wages to spare, this election can be worth thousands every single year. Run the numbers both ways before you file. Better yet, have a tax professional model it, because once you elect, you are committed. If this helped, hit subscribe. I will see you in the next one. This content is for educational purposes only and does not constitute tax advice. Consult a qualified tax professional for guidance specific to your situation.